I'll give you the land at free or free loans or cheap loans in order for you to use that land, that federal land that you and I, you, the person on the other side of the screen, that we own together, and we're going to give it to the rich fat cat. Yeah, and that fundamentally feels unfair. Like, where's my handout? Where's my subsidy? But the idea is economic nationalism. You're going to buy Twinkies with your money. He's going to build a railroad. And that railroad is going to exist in order to create more economic opportunity, to create cheaper goods because you'll be able to transport them more quickly, in order to expand the economy, in order to complete manifest destiny. The Homestead Act was passed in I believe 1862. Please don't comment if I'm wrong. I'll just email me. And that Homestead Act gave free land to settlers in order to create manifest destiny or complete it, and the railroad's going to speed that along. Walking slow, railroad fast. So those are examples of economic nationalism. So that's kind of the plus, the pro for industrialization is economic nationalism. One other pro vocabulary word, and we'll kind of get into the nitty-gritty the bad stuff. But the other pro is one of the two words in the English language that Mr. Hughes, your teacher, cannot pronounce. I cannot say hippopotamus, and I cannot say philanthropy. But that's the word. I can spell it for you. Philanthropy. I can't say it. It's a PH word, though. And basically what it means is charitable handouts. And these big business tycoons like Carnegie and Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, they did give back to society. They did create institutions of learning and libraries and museums, the Rockefeller Center, Carnegie Hall. So there is a pro in the sense of these monopoly trust corporation tycoons are creating nonprofit organizations that will benefit all of us in the future. I don't know if that's out of guilt or out of the love of their big American hearts, but nevertheless, on the Regents, you need to know the word that Mr. Hughes cannot pronounce, philanthropy. So there you go. You can laugh at me as long as you know what the word means. So I'm checking my little clock here, and I have 3 minutes. I don't know about reform today. I don't think we can fix these problems in 3 minutes. So let's go over the problems of the industrial age. Number one, we're going to have tremendous overcrowding in cities. Urbanization occurs during industrialization. And the reason for urbanization, and that's when people move to cities, is number one, that's where the factory jobs are going to be. So, poor little Johnny the farmer ain't going to be able to be Johnny the farmer. He might have to move to the city to get a job. But we also have a period of open immigration during this industrial age. Open immigration means the door to immigration is open. Come on in, my friends. Come on in. Now, why are we allowing immigrants to come to this country? Now, I guess the patriotic answer is because we're the land of diversity. The Regents' answer is, or the truth probably is, we need cheap labor. Who will work on a railroad for $1 a day? The Chinese, the Irish, the Germans. And the immigrants that come are characterized as new immigrants. The old immigrants are the immigrants of England, of France, of old Europe. Now we go to Eastern Europe, Southern Europe. People that are customly different than what we're used to. Languages, religions, the way that people talk, the way that people live. So we're going to see a backlash. And that backlash is going to be on the test as well. And sometimes in my class I'll break out in this accent. I don't mean to be derogatory towards any kinds of people. But the concept is nativism and xenophobia. Massive immigration causes nativism. The root of nativism, of course, being native. Meaning I'm from here and you are not, new immigrant man. So go back where you came from. Kind of racist. And based on the idea that these new immigrants don't fit the American, kind of box, and they're taking union jobs. Well, we don't really have great unions yet, but they're taking American jobs, and they're seen as not being able to be part of American culture. So we got a lot of nativism during this time period. But the really bad stuff is economically, trusts and monopolies, these big corporations that we talked about previously that consolidate power because they have a lot of you-know-what. They're gonna kill competition. There's your magic word for the Regents, competition. Because when you kill competition, like the railroad or like the oil company or like the steel company, if you're the only McDonald's in town and there ain't no Burger King and there ain't no Wendy's, $8 for a hamburger. The concept here is that they're going to raise prices on Americans and at the benefit of their own profit, their own stockholders, and their own wallets. So unsafe working conditions, overcrowded cities, child labor, a really bad situation for the guy on the street. So sometimes you'll call them on the test robber barons, because really they're taking from the labor of the poor, they're taking the sweat and the blood of the German, of the Irish, of the Chinese, and they're churning that into profit for their own, capitalistic selves. Now, I don't want to sound like a Marxist. Please don't email me and say that I'm a Marxist. Not that I'm not, not that I am, but that's the concept of capitalism during industrialization. I am definitely over my 10-minute YouTube mark. So we'll see you guys later. I think this needs more explanation, but you have hopefully a grasp on the foundations of the industrial age. So we're going to get to Teddy Roosevelt, we're going to get to populists, we're going to get to the Grange, we're going to get to progressives, we're going to get to socialists, and we're going to shake this puppy up and light some fires and get the government's ass to kind of burn a little bit, so it'll do the opposite of laissez-faire, which will be reform, change, and regulation.